Today's recipe is Jjajangmyeon Buckwheat noodles with black bean sauce. We're going to start off by chopping a small potato into bite-sized pieces. Once that's all chopped, we're going to set that aside. And chop our zucchini into bite-sized pieces also. And the reason you want everything bite-sized is because when you're eating your noodles, you don't want to get huge chunks of anything. Well, especially since my son's little, so he'll just spit it out if he feels something is like he can't chew it or something. And this is a good way of getting him to eat more vegetables, hiding it in his food. He's really good at eating his vegetables, but I like, some things he just doesn't want because he sees it, so I'd rather hide it in stuff that he likes. And we're gonna add some onion, about a 1/4 cup of chopped onion. He likes the flavor of the onion. I'm not sure if he likes like the huge chunks, so I'm gonna chop it finely. So he just thinks it's potato or zucchini. You can omit this if you're making it for your child and they don't like onion, or yourself and you don't like onion. You can replace it with powdered onion also, but this does give it a lot of flavor. Okay, we're going to set that to the side. And there you go, we have all our chopped veggies, our potatoes, our zucchini, and our onion. Once you got all of that, we're going to chop up our pork. I'm using lean pork loin. You can go ahead and use, the original recipe calls for pork belly, but you can use chicken or beef. Just cut it up really small so you get little bite-sized pieces of those also. Now that it's chopped, we're going to go to our stove and heat a pan with oil. We're going to add our cubed pork. Mine is frozen, that's why it looks like that. I didn't have time to defrost. And there you go. You're going to cook this until it's browned and cooked thoroughly. You want it to get a kind of a crisp to it. While that's cooking, we're going to start to boil our water for our noodles. And there we go. I'm just going to fast forward that real quick. Once it's nicely brown like this and crispy, we're going to start adding our potatoes first, because that's the hardest vegetable and it needs more time to cook. And we're going to cook that while mixing for about 2 minutes. 1 to 2 minutes. You're going to notice it's going to change in color. Okay, now that it's slightly cooked, we're going to go ahead and add our onion now. Now we're going to cook that until it's tender, about a minute. And once that gets a little bit tender, we're going to add our zucchini. And that also just needs a few minutes to cook, since later on we're going to cook it thoroughly, everything. Okay, now we're going to make a well in the middle and add some more oil. in the center so we can cook our black bean sauce. As you can see, mine just ran off to the sides, but you know what I was trying to do. And this is the black bean sauce that I'm gonna use, about 3 to 4 tablespoons. It all depends on how much you're making for how many people. I'm making like for about 4 servings for my son, so I think I added 4 tablespoons here. And you just want to cook that by itself first. You're going to notice the consistency is going to change, so you know when it's cooked. Just want to cook it off a little. Try to move your pan around if your oil also went to the side, so you can get some of that oil to cook it. You don't have to do as I'm doing here, like trying to keep the vegetables and pork away from the sauce. It's okay if it mixes in. We're still gonna mix it all together. And once it's slightly cooked, now we're gonna combine everything until there's sauce on everything. Now that everything's combined, we're going to go ahead and add 2 cups of water. You can go ahead and add beef broth, chicken broth, vegetable broth, and that will give it way more flavor. I didn't have any on hand, so I just used water. Again, I just make these things when my son asks me, you know. He remembers or he sees a certain ingredient that, since he's always around, and he'll ask me for it. Okay, now we're going to cover it and let that cook for 10 minutes. We're cooking our veggies. Now while we're cooking that, we're going to, in another bowl, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 1 teaspoon of sugar. And we're going to mix that up. And it's going to make a slurry type of consistency. This is what's gonna make our sauce get thickened. Now that it's ready, we're gonna go ahead and add it to our cooked veggies after 10 minutes. You just want to add it slowly as you stir. You see how it's all watery? It's gonna change pretty quickly once you add your slurry. You don't have to add it as slow as I did. I just did that because I think I was talking to somebody while I was making this, so I was a little bit distracted. But you see how it's starting to thicken already? Now we're just gonna let it simmer about 5 minutes as we stir, and after 5 minutes just set that aside. This is what you want. Nice and thick sauce with our nice and tender veggies. You don't want super soggy veggies, you just want them nice and tender so they still have a bite to them. And it's ready. Now we're gonna cook our noodles. These are buckwheat noodles. The original recipe, I believe, uses egg noodles. I'm not sure, but my son eats these. He likes them. So I'm gonna make 1 portion, which is a portion like for myself, but he eats that like in 2 portions. I'm gonna go ahead and cook those. Just cook them. Follow the directions on the back of the package. Now once they're cooked, you're gonna put them in cold water, and that's gonna make the noodles a bit chewy, which is good. And don't worry about having cold noodles because your sauce is hot, so it's gonna go ahead and heat your noodles as well when you add it to it. Just give them a mix with your hand. So you stop the cooking process. And you're going to place them in a bowl. This is for my son, of course. I eat way more than that. And just pour your sauce over it to cover it. And there you go. Enjoy! Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my recipes. I upload Monday through Thursday. And as always, thanks for watching. Talk to you next video.